flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost.
Alright, cool beans. Hope you guys did enjoy that small montage. I'm Hex. I'm gonna be going over my updated StamDK build for the Scribes of Fate patch. Honestly, all I can say is wow. After playing this build, StamDK's just hit so hard. I don't know what it was. The DoT apocalypse is back full force. Like the amount of pressure I had, like I have so much DoT pressure, and by the time I finished applying all my DoT on you, basically my opponent was basically almost at one shot. So all I had to do was fossilize, whip, and good night. Honestly, it was truly an insane thing. I mean, DKs are just known to be cheesy in general. The craziest sustain that is Battle Roar, the incredible tankiness that just comes from DK healing and resistances, and probably the most defining quality of them all, the craziest DoT pressure and insane burst potential. Like you have so much DoT pressure and you have actually really great burst. How exactly did we get this strong build in order? Stick around to the end and I'll show you exactly how. But before we get started, if you guys hit the subscribe and like button, really does go a long way and I greatly do appreciate it. Also leave a comment what video I should do next. But without further ado, let's leap our way into the build. Alright, so for the first skill we do run Rending Slashes. This is honestly a pretty potent DoT that puts bleed damage on them. The main reason that we run this skill, it has anytime you deal bleed damage, you have a chance to proc Hemorrhaging, which procs Minor Mangle, which reduces the enemy's max health by 10%, and if that wasn't enough, puts another DoT on top of that. Like, yeah, Hemorrhaging is pretty nuts, and what this morph does, it snares the target, and it always puts Hemorrhaging on the target with the initial hit. Next skill, we do run Venomous Claw. This is the bread and butter DoT for StamDK. This is a hard hitting DoT. The longer it lasts, the more it ramps up, and honestly, this thing can ramp pretty high. Next, we do run Noxious Breath. Nice AoE DoT cone that puts mainly there for major breach. Next, we do run Flames of Oblivion. This is our spammable. I think we all know what it does. Hits 3 targets with flame, mainly just used to proc our main skill, which is Molten Whip. This thing is honestly beyond bonkers, like straight up bonkers. Anytime you use another Ardent Flame ability that isn't Molten Whip, you gain a stack. Each stack increases the damage of this Molten Whip by 20% and increases your weapon and spell damage by 100. So you get up to 300 weapon and spell damage, up to 60% more damage on this. Yeah, this thing is pretty crazy. I mean, look at that. Almost a 14. I'm pretty sure this can be up to 14k if we proc our Minor Brutality. This is kind of how we execute targets. It hits really hard. Next skill we do run is Take Flight. This is honestly one of the, actually no, this honestly is the most fun ultimate in the entire game. It is one of the last few remaining ultimates that's instant cast. And it just feels great just launching yourself in the air right before you leap them into oblivion. Like, it just feels great. For the back bar, we do run Race Against Time. This is basically our snare immunity that just happens to grant Major Expedition and Minor Force. Next, we do run Volatile Armor, basically just our armor buff. Puts a small DoT around us and can reflect some flame damage, pretty cool. Next, we do run Resolving Vigor. This is obviously just our burst heal. Heal a lot over 5 seconds and grants us Minor Resolve. Next we do run is Fossilize. I prefer this morph, being able to root the target. I prefer that, but if you prefer the other morph, go ahead, perfectly fine. But this is mainly just our stun. This thing does damage and it stuns, and honestly it is unblockable. So yeah, you could actually catch a lot of people off guard with this. It is a little weird on the back bar, but trust me, after a while you kind of just forget it's even on the back bar and you get used to it. And next we do run is Coagulating Blood. This is our burst heal. Doesn't seem like much, but this is unbuffed and it can increase by up to 50% based on your misting health. There's many times where I was literally at like 5 HP and I crit healed this thing for like 14 to 17k. Like it's insane. And if you ever want to hear a joke, grant some health recovery. And for our ultimate, we do run the cheese that is Corrosive. Obviously, basically become immortal, taking only 3% of damage of your health, dealing a nice little DoT around us. But the main thing what makes corrosive is while this ability is active, this ability and your direct damage attacks ignore enemy physical and spell resist. You're basically almost doing true damage to a target with this. Alright, but enough of that, let's go over the stat sheets. So let's just check out our max stats real quick. Max mag over 15k, max health over 32.5k. and our max damage is over 22.2k. Let's check our recups fully buffed. Look at that, mag recup over 1400 and our stam recup is at 2200 flat. And let's check up our fully proc weapon damage. Our fully proc weapon damage is over 5600. Might not seem like much, but you have to realize we are full bloodthirsty on this build. Kind of crazy. And our crits, it's almost at 38%. And our penetration is over 30k. Might look a little low, but we do have access to major breach, potential minor breach, and obviously the cheese that is corrosive. I mean, there you go. We're absolutely going to delete anyone with our molten whip. Not for our resist on our back bar real quick. Spell resist over 31k and our physical resist is over 30k and our crit resist is over 2082. These are some tanky stats. For the attributes, typical 24 points in the health and 40 points in the stamina. For the food, we do run Jewels of Mistral, saying that purple food is perfectly fine. But if you got deep pockets or don't mind spending a little extra, you could run Orzakas, a little bit more max health and slight more recup. For the Mundus, we do run the Thief. Honestly, you know me and you know that I love crit. With all the dots we have on this build, like just critting more often, like it's just so much pressure on their target, and there's no better feeling than crit leaping someone into oblivion. Obviously, we are a stage 3 vampire for one simple passive, Undeath. The lower health we are, the tankier we become. And for my race, I am an Imperial. Honestly, Imperial, in my opinion, is hands down the best open world stam race out there. You get access to tough, increases your max health by 2k, the most max health from a racial passive. Imperial Metal, increases your max stam by 2k. And the best of them all, Red Diamond, reduces the cost of all your abilities by 6%. This includes Magicka, Stamina, Health, your ultimates, and also your roll dodge, CC break, and block all cost 6% less. It's a crazy passive. Obviously some strong alternatives. Nord could be really good on this build. Khajiit could be pretty good. We do have high crit on this build. Wood Elf is not bad. Orc wouldn't be bad. Everything else I'd kind of stay away from. Actually Dark Elf, maybe. Alright, but enough of that. Let's go with the sets now. Alright, so for the first set we do run good old Wretched Vitality. I mean, I always say I sound like a broken record, but it has to be said. Wretched Vitality is basically a staple on all Mustang builds. I mean, let's just look at that 5-piece. Being able to get to base 390 mag and stam recup, that's base. So you can add an extra 30% from pots, 15% from your miners, from continuous attack. There's just so many ways to bump this up. It's just a crazy set. It is back barrable. Lets us go full offensive on our jewelry, and the main thing of all, it lets us run some unique pots. We're not forced to having to run tripods to sustain our mag. I can literally run any other pot and not have to worry about my mag with this. Honestly, if you have not tried the power that is Wretched Vitality, just try it once, you'll never go back. And for the monster set we do run good old Bloodspawn. I mean, obviously Bloodspawn on a DK is like butter on toast. You can't have one without the other. I mean, let's just look at it. 1-piece stam recup, juicy. 2-piece, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate over 3700 armor. You can literally have almost 100% uptime on this thing. Not only does it make it tankier, it lets us do indirectly more damage because we're able to spam more leaps and corrosives. But the thing on a DK is ulti gen on a DK is sustained because of that juicy battle roar passive. Obviously we do run 1-piece training because this is a meta front bar back bar setup with a mythic. Why 1-piece trading? Because we do have one slot available, so why not slot trading? Gives us the most max health for 1-piece. And for the mythic we do run, obviously good old Markin Ring of Majesty. I mean, just look at it. Just with this build, you just slap this on, 200 weapon spell damage and over 2300 armor. Just here you go for free. Don't even have to think. And for the main set we do run is Rune Carver's Blaze. Honestly, this thing was so much fun to run. Like looking back at the clips, like all the damage checks this thing was doing, it was insane. Let's just go over it for those that don't know. 2-piece adds weapon and spell damage, 3-piece adds weapon and spell damage, 4-piece adds offense pen. The 5-piece, your damage over time effects deal an additional X amount of flame damage every 3rd damage tick. This scales off your weapon and spell damage. Let's just see fully proc real quick. Look at that, over 1240 every 3rd damage tick. And that's the thing, once it goes off the first time, it can actually go off a second time and a 3rd time until the dot either gets removed or it goes away by itself. Honestly, the pressure that this thing provided was insane, like absolutely insane. So some strong alternatives. You might be looking at that and wondering, why not run Way of the Fire? Honestly, you could run Way of the Fire. It actually would do more single target damage. The thing is, this one guarantees you a line of offense penetration, which we kind of do need on this build. But the main thing is I could set and forget my dots on you and you'll still get pressured. The thing about a 1vx is you never know who you can go for. Like I can dot 3 people up and at any moment I can turn and burn on somebody when I see them get ticked down. The thing about Way of the Fire, it's really good single target damage. When you see your target, you can absolutely burst them. Or you could run Plague Break, obviously. Really good dot. And potentially pop Zerg. So the way we do run it, we do run double daggers of Runecarver's Blaze. Honestly, you know me and you know that I love crit. On the main hand, we do have an Azor Stam enchant with Nerdhone. The main reason we run an Azor Stam enchant, nice Stam recut, but the main thing is when you do physical damage, you have a chance to proc Sundered, which procs Minor Breach on the target for 4 seconds. And for the offhand, we do run a shock damage enchant with Charged. Shock to proc Minor Vuln, and Charge because we have so much pressure going on. The more often we can proc Burning and Poison, just even more pressure. For the back bar, we do run a Restoration Staff of Wretched Vitality with the Onslaught enchant. Honestly, you know me, I love restos. Any way I can fit resto on the build, I'm gonna do it. 30% more max mag from your heavies, and on-demand major mending, like what more do you want? And defending, obviously, because tankiness is next to godliness. So for the body, we do run the typical 3-3-1, 3 heavy, 3 medium, 1 light. So we do have a heavy Bloodspawn head, heavy chest of the training, heavy shoulders of Bloodspawn, a light sash of Runecarver's Blaze, medium bracers of Wretched Vitality, medium legs of Wretched Vitality, and medium feet of Wretched Vitality. So for the enchants, if you can, tri-stat all the pieces. If you can't do that, tri-stat the big pieces. What I mean by that is head, chest, and legs. And if you can't do that, max damage perfectly fine. Just adjust your health attributes at the end. And for the traits, 6 M pen, 1 reinforced. Yes, 6 M pen, 1 reinforced. The only reinforced I have is a heavy chest of the trainee reinforced. And for the jewelry, we do run a Runecarver's neck and ring, and a Markin Ring of Majesty because it only comes in a ring. Duh. All bloodthirsty, all within weapon and spell damage enchants that grant Stam recup preferably. But obviously if you have some that grant mag recup or a mixture of both, honestly wouldn't make or break the build, but preferably go for the Stam recup on this build. With the nice buff that is to bloodthirsty on the lower traits, honestly you're not missing much on not having gold quality. I'm just showing you right here that I didn't even have gold jewelry for this build and I was absolutely slapping. Just saying that this build can be even stronger if you really want to commit to it. And for the food we do run good old Jewels of Mistral. Grants you a lot of max health and recover everything. But obviously if you got a deep pocket or don't mind spending a little extra, or Zofka's Smoke Bear Haunch. Over 400 more max health and 12 more recup. Yes, 12 more stam and mag recup. You heard that right. And for the pots we do run, these are important, are the weapon power crit pots. This is how we get our major brutality and major savagery, our 20% weapon damage and our 12% weapon crit. The reason we want weapon damage is because DKs do have access to minor brutality. So we get major brutality with this. The reason we get this crit is, well, because this is the only crit we can get with weapon damage and it gives us stamina, which synergizes well with our build. You can either craft them yourself or you can just buy the ones from the AP vendors, perfectly fine. Alright, but enough of that, let's go with the CP now. Alright, so for the blue CP we do run Fighting Finesse, increases our critical damage, critical healing. Focus Mend, increases your healing done with single target heals. Deadly Aim, increases your damage done with single target attacks. So the reason we run this is because we do have dot damage and single target damage. So if you were to run the Thaumaturge one, you're only increasing the damage of your dots. With Deadly Aim, it actually increases our dot damage because they're all single target, and it increases the damage of our whip. And Ironclad reduces the damage taken with direct damage attacks. And for the red CP, we do run the typical seal of approval Hex CP. Celerity increases our movement speed by 10%, honestly in my opinion the best CP in the entire game. Survival Instincts, while affected with a status effect, your core combat skills cost 25% less. Relentlessness, being stunned or fear causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds. And Pain's Refuge, the more negative effects you have active on us, the tankier we become. And for the green CP, doesn't ever really matter. Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider, and Steed's Blessing. But alright, cool beans, that's the build. Hope you guys did enjoy it. All I can say is wow, honestly, with this StamDK build. This thing was hitting so hard. The crazy thing about this build is that like Runecarvers wasn't even proccing before I even bursted someone into oblivion. Just showing how strong this build was overall with the 2 to 4 piece, and just the 5 pieces icing on the cake just shows you how truly powerful StamDKs are. And I'm just gonna say it, honestly, I might think StamDKs are even better than Mag DKs now. I don't know what it is, but they just do so much ridiculous damage. The cheese that is StamDK is back with full vengeance. But as always, hope you guys did enjoy the build video. Like the video if you liked it, comment your thoughts or experience with the build. Also anything I might have missed out, what video I should do next. Subscribe for more, but most importantly, stay Zerging.